Introduction. James's father suddenly strongly opposed his son's decision, leaving the whole family shocked. What is the reason behind this opposition? What made a calm man like him angry? Follow along to discover the secret behind this dramatic story. That afternoon, James was working in the office when the phone rang. It was from his father abroad. His stern face appeared on the screen, his voice heavy. James, I just received a call from an employee at the company. They said you don't pay attention to work and are always hanging out with Diep, a man who has been married before, and is raising a child that is not related to you by blood. Do you know what you are doing? James frowned slightly. He knew immediately that someone was deliberately trying to stir up conflict. He calmly replied, Dad, I know everything about Diep's past. That has never been a problem for me. I love her and I consider Nhi as my own daughter. On the other end of the line, James's father took a deep breath, his face growing more and more tense. Do you understand who you are? You are the one who will inherit the family company. How could a successful businessman like me let my son get involved with such a complicated woman? The family's reputation would be affected. James was silent for a few seconds, then looked straight at the screen, his voice low but firm. Dad, my love is not a disgrace to the family's honor. I want you to believe that I am mature enough to choose my own happiness. Meanwhile, Diep sat in the living room listening to the call. She bowed her head, her eyes filled with tears. That night, she gently said to James, Let's stop. I don't want you to be at odds with your family because of me and our child. James held her hand tightly, his voice filled with determination. No. Diep, I will prove to Dad that you are worthy of love. I will make things clear. The next day, James began to investigate and discovered that the person who called to provoke his father was a longtime manager in the company, who had a conflict with him and did not want him to take over. James collected evidence and recorded conversations that showed that this person deliberately defamed Diep's reputation. In the online meeting with his father and the board of directors, James presented the whole truth. Dad, I am not blind. I know Diep has been married before. But that does not make me love her any less. And the person who called you is just using that to divide his family. James's father was silent for a long time. His face relaxed, his eyes lowered. If you have made up your mind, I will give you the chance to prove your choice is right. But remember, you are carrying the honor of the family on your shoulders. James nodded slightly. He turned to look at Diep and Nhi, smiling reassuringly. I won't let anyone hurt you too. This is the family I want to protect to the end. In the days after the online meeting, it seemed like everything had calmed down. But deep down, James knew his father still hadn't really accepted it, because he was always strict and put family honor first. One afternoon, James had just finished a meeting at the company when the phone rang again. It was a text message from his father. Dad still doesn't feel at ease. If Diep is really worthy, you have to prove it. Don't let your feelings distract you from your work. That night, Diep called James, her voice trembling a little. Are you free? Nhi just cried a lot at school. James immediately came. It turned out that at school, some parents were gossiping about Nhi not having a biological father, which made her feel hurt. Diep hugged her child, her eyes red. I'm sorry. If it weren't for my past, Nhi wouldn't have had to endure such words. James sat down and gently wiped Nhi's tears. Nhi, Don't cry. You have your uncle and mother here. You're no different from the other kids. He turned to Diep, holding her hand tightly. This is the family I want to protect. I will show Dad. No one has the right to insult you and your mother. The next day, James went to school and met with the principal to explain and request to discipline the parents who had used offensive words. He also took responsibility for sponsoring the tuition for some students with difficult circumstances in Nyi's class. This made the teachers admire, and Nyi's story was quickly calmed down. James recorded the entire process and sent it to his father with a message. Dad. Do you see? Being with Diep and Nhi, I am not weaker. On the contrary, I learned how to become a more responsible man. James's father finished reading, was silent for a long time, then replied, You did well. But I still want to meet Diep and Nhi in person before making a final decision. Next month, I will return to Vietnam. When receiving the news, Diep was a bit worried. Diep asked James, What if your father still doesn't accept? James smiled, put his arms around her, and Nhi and believed. As long as we are steadfast, Father will understand. This is the family I chose. That afternoon, James and Mom sat talking. Her voice was gentle but full of worry. James, I just talked to your dad. He's still not at ease. He's afraid you'll neglect your career because of love. James sighed. Mom, I know Dad cares about me, but I'm not the same impulsive boy I used to be. I truly love Diep, and Nhi is a child who deserves to be loved. I never neglected my work. James's mother pondered for a moment and then asked softly, Does Diep know that your father is so strongly against it? Yes, she knows. She also wants to break up so that you don't have to be embarrassed. James's mother sighed. She is truly a considerate girl. James, I don't object to you, but you need to prove to your father that Diep is truly worthy of this family's protection. That night, James recounted the conversation to Diep. She smiled sadly. I'm afraid your father will think I'm greedy and cling to you. James held her hand. I'll show him you're not like that. And I'll ask my mother to help. The next day, James talked to his mother and asked her something. Mom, I want you to go visit Diep and Nhi. If you can understand them and feel their sincerity, I believe Dad will also believe. James's mother was silent for a few seconds, then nodded. Okay, I will visit, but I want to come as a surprise, to see the real people. On the weekend, James's mother secretly came to Diep's house. When she opened the door, Diep was surprised and embarrassed, so she quickly invited her in. Nhi bowed politely, then ran to get some water. While they were talking, James's mother observed Diep's every move, from the way she took care of her child, the way she spoke softly, to the obvious worry when mentioning James. James's mother smiled slightly. Before leaving, she held Diep's hand. Just live a good life. I'll take care of convincing James's father. That evening, James's mother called her husband. Honey, I met Diep and Nhi today. They are very sincere, not at all like what others say. If you could meet them once, maybe you would think differently. James's father on the other end of the line was thoughtful, his voice less harsh. I will consider it, but I need more time. Let James continue to prove